Hi, welcome again. In this lesson, we will see how to work with the branches. In order to work with the branches, let us see the current active branch or the working branch using the command git branch, and also check the git log history using the command git log one line. Suppose if we have few number of branches, and in order to guess in which branch we are working, you can directly see the branch which is pointing in front of the Git repository. But in order to see the number of branches we have in our Git repository, we need to use command git branch. So it helps us to switch to a different branches and work on the different branches. Now, to work with the branch developer team 2, let us make some changes to the example2 file from the Visual Studio Code editor. Now let us add this file and make a commit simultaneously using the command git commit -am and then the commit message. Let us use the shorter way to make a commits. Now check the git log history using git log one line. Now we can see the developer team 2 is one commit ahead of the main branch. Now to add these changes from the branch developer team 2 to our GitHub repository, we need to push from the branch developer team 2. So in order to do this, use the command git push origin, and then instead of the main branch, use the branch developer team 2. Now if we refresh our remote repository, we can see a new commit from the branch developer team 2. And also if we click on the branch icon, we can see the total number of branches in our remote repository as well. And also the branch icon shows the total number of branches currently we are in the remote repository. So in order to make a commit, click on the compare and pull request. Here we can create a pull request by comparing the changes from the different branches with respect to the base branch or the main branch. And also we can see we can able to merge the changes without any conflicts. So regarding the merge conflicts and merging from the branches, we will see later in this course. Here just I showed you how to make a commit from the different branch. Now let us create a new branch from our remote repository. In order to create a new branch in the GitHub account, click on the branch icon and start typing the branch name. Here I would like to create a new branch called developer team 1. Then click on create branch. So totally we have 3 branches in our remote repository at present, and currently we are on the branch developer team 1. Now to add a remote branch to our local repository, we need to pull it from the remote repository to our local repository. So let us pull the remote repository from the branch developer team 1 instead of the main branch, which is the default branch we have set in our both local and the remote repository. Before we can pull our remote repository to our local repository from the branch developer team 1, let us make some changes to the remote repository from the branch developer team 1. Here I would like to change the file example1 for loop with the simple print statement. Let us update the commit message. And click on commit changes. Again, go back to the project. Now you can see we have 2 changes from the 2 different branches, developer team 1 and developer team 2. Don't worry about the compare and pull request. Git initially shows this type of compare and pull request for the first time when you create a branches in your Git repository. Now let us pull the remote repository to our local repository from the branch developer team 1 using the command git pull origin and then the branch name developer team 1. Remember that the developer team 1 branch has been created in the remote repository, not in the local repository. That's why we are pulling the changes from the remote repository to our local repository. Now if we check the number of branches in our Git repository using the command git branch, we can see only 2 branches. We have just pulled the remote repository to our local repository, but we have not yet switched to that branch in our local repository. So in order to switch to that branch in our Git terminal, use the command git checkout dash dash track origin / developer team 1. Since we have added this branch in our remote repository but not in our local repository, but we have pulled the changes from the remote repository to our local repository, but we have not tracked the branch developer team 1. That's why we are using the command git checkout dash dash track origin / developer team 1. So this command will track the branch developer team 1 and verifies the changes made from that branch. Now if we check the number of branches using the command git branch, we can see the newly created branch in the remote repository developer team 1, which is now appearing in our local repository. And also if we check the Visual Studio Code editor and for the file example1.for loop, we can see that changes made from the remote repository has been appeared in the local repository as well. Let us check the git log history using the command git log dash dash one line. Here we can see the branch developer team 1 is now one commit ahead of the main branch, but we are not seeing the changes made from the branch developer team 2 because we have not yet merged the branches and made a merge commit. Hence, it will only show the changes made from a particular branch if we switch to that particular branch using the command git checkout. Otherwise, we cannot find the changes made from the different branches. So regarding the merging the branches, we will talk later in this course. But for now, you please remember that we are seeing only the changes made from a particular branch because we have not yet merged the branches. Now, let us see how to remove a branch from the local repository as well as from the remote repository. Suppose if we don't want the branch and want to delete a remote branch of GitHub from the Git terminal, we need to use the command git push origin dash dash delete and then the branch name. Let us delete the branch developer team 2. We have just deleted the branch developer team 2 in the remote repository from our local repository, but we have not yet deleted this branch in our local repository. Hence, they still exist in our local repository. If we want to check that, use the command git branch. So here you can see still we can find 3 branches in our local repository. To delete this branch from the local repository, As well, we need to switch to different branch other than the active branch. So let us check the branch and switch to a different branch. Currently, we are on the developer team 1 branch. Let us switch to the main branch using the command git checkout and then the branch name. Now we can see we are on the main branch. Now let us delete the branch developer team 1 using the command git branch dash capital D and then the branch name. So this command is used to delete a branch in our local Git repository. So in order to delete a branch in our remote repository from our Git terminal, we need to use the command git push origin dash dash delete developer team 2. So don't get confused with the remote repository and the local repository. So right now I am deleting the branch developer team 1 from my local repository. Now if we check the branches using the command git branch, we can see now we left with only 2 branches, developer team 2 and main. Let us delete the branch developer team 2 as well from our local repository. Now if we check the total number of branches using the git branch, we can see we left with only 1 branch, that is main. Now if we check our remote repository, we can see we have 2 branches, main and developer team 1. Because we have deleted the branch developer team 2 from our local repository as well as from the remote repository using the git terminal. We have not yet deleted the branch developer team 1 in our remote repository. We just had removed the branch from our local repository. Hence, it is appearing in the remote repository still. Now, I will show you how to delete this developer team 1 branch from our git terminal as well. Let us use the command git push origin dash dash delete developer team 1 in the remote repository from the git terminal. Now if we check our remote repository, we no longer find a developer team 1. Hence it is showing an error in our GitHub website. Let us switch to our profile. Now we can see we have only 1 branch in our remote repository, that is main. So this is all about how to work with the branches, that is how to create a branch from the local repository, how to create a branch from the remote repository, how to commit from the local, how to push how to pull, and finally how to delete the branches both from the GitHub and local repository. See you in the next lesson with more details on the branches.